an estimated 33% of Cameroonian children are suffering from malnutrition, and medics are to that effect seeking ways to reduce the rising phenomenon in the country. And also in this newscast, while Cameroonians continue to ponder on when the reunification celebration in Cameroon will finally take place, the governor of the southwest region of the country, Governor Bernard Okalia-Bilai, has declared that no reunification project has so far been abandoned. Plus, passengers of the Turkish Airlines on rampage here in the economic capital, Douala. Good evening to you once again, viewers. We thank you so much for joining us in this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Let's begin right away with health. As we announced in the headlines, it has been revealed that out of the 44% of children who suffer from malnutrition in CEMAC zones, majority of them are from Cameroon, as 1 out of every 8 child dies every year as a result of malnutrition. The revelation was made today in the economic capital, Douala, during a seminar to reduce chronic malnutrition in the country. For Hansen Chanchi tells us more in the following report.
Malnutrition in Cameroon is chronic and aggravating as years go by. Over 3 out of every 10 children suffer from malnutrition in Mr. Biya's country. The situation has been deteriorating from 24% in 1991 to 33% in 2011. The rate of malnutrition in Cameroon is therefore high. Experts revealed children in rural areas are more exposed to malnutrition, with risks amounting to 1.8 to 4%. Cameroon alone represents 4% of children suffering from chronic malnutrition in West and Central Africa. The causes of this chronic malnutrition in the country has been attributed to economic crisis, outbreak of diseases like cholera. An expert revealed the problem of malnutrition has never been taken serious in Cameroon. Statistics shows that Cameroon loses close to $730 million yearly because the problem of chronic malnutrition has never been addressed. How therefore can it be resolved? Our experts recommend that Cameroon could invest 15,600 francs CFA per child each year to fight against chronic malnutrition, and the coming together of stakeholders in the health sector to eradicate malnutrition. They continued that chronic malnutrition is more dangerous than acute malnutrition because it deforms a child, where a child of 5 years old still looks like that of 2 years. Over 1 million children below 5 years suffer from chronic malnutrition, 171,000 from acute malnutrition, while 33,000 die every year as a result of malnutrition in the world.
From health, we take you right away to Yaoundé, where the biannual meeting of the 10 regional governors of Cameroon entered day 2 today in that part of the country. Meantime, the governor of the southwest region of the country, Bernard Okalia-Bilai, as we announced in the headlines, has said that no reunification project has so far been abandoned. Meantime, equally, the governor of the far north region of Cameroon, Mr. Awafonka Augustine, has also admitted that enough adequate security has been put in place to protect the population of the far north region of the country during and after this festive period. Roland Akong compiled the following report.
In a chat with Governor Okalia-Bilai of the Southwest region, Equinox TV sought to know about some alleged incomplete and abandoned projects of the reunification celebration in the Southwest region.
There is no project incomplete, there is no project abandoned. Where I can see it is one of the town, except Douala and Yaoundé, who in less than a year has benefited. More than 30 billions are put in place for the construction of a city.
The father of the Southwest region tells us that all is set in the region to host the reunification Golden Jubilee.
Tout est prêt. Il y a des petites corrections Mais tout est prêt.
With Governor Fonka Awa of the Far North region, we are told that security measures have been taken in the Far North to check the kidnapping of foreigners by Boko Haram.
Security at the level of the Far North region has been strengthened. More elements have come in, and we've requested that motorcycles at the borders are restricted between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. Equally, we've asked the population to work in collaboration with the forces of law and order and administration.
Governor Fonka Awa tells us that the malaria epidemic which touched the region recently is now under control.
With the involvement of the Ministry of Public Health and the sensitization campaign carried out to make people understand that they need to use their mosquito nets and they need to clean and clear their environment, I think the matter is under control.
And that patients shown worldwide receiving treatment under trees was not as a result of inadequate health facilities.
The environment was very hot and sandy, and people felt a little bit more comfortable with their tradition to be treated out of the wards and where they can sit along with their family members and those who are caring for the patients.
The governors of the 10 regions of Cameroon are meeting in Yaoundé for their second semester conference.
And the outing of the Southwest Regional Governor is coming at the time when the actual date of the reunification celebration is still unknown, and the plight of Far Northerners, that is the series of promises by the head of state, are yet to be fulfilled. Now, the case pitting Cameroon's former Minister of Finance has been adjourned to January 9th, 2014. Polycarp Ababa is so far defending charges of the embezzlement of some 5 billion francs CFA that he allegedly swindled during his tenure as Director of the Taxation Department. Ababa was arrested since the year 2008, was in 2012 sentenced to 6 years imprisonment for attempting to escape jail, and he was found in his home after having obtained permission to meet his dentist. We shall be coming back to that in a subsequent newscast. And security forces have apprehended a passenger of the Turkish Airlines following a sit-down strike in front of the company. That was today. He was amongst the scores of passengers who have for days been waiting for the arrival of their luggages in Cameroon. They left Turkey some 4 days ago, but their luggages are said to have been abandoned in the Turkish capital. And another worry raised by the disgruntled passengers is that the monies that were given to them by the company for their upkeep is insufficient.
Alerte la police.
Le responsable de la République, we are still here in the economic capital Douala, kicked off today. The first phase of the project saw the demarcation of the road and also the clearing of the wreckage of the destroyed buildings. Radha Jacques Ekwekinge tells us more in the following report.
Work has effectively started at the extension project of the Boulevard de la République. The Department of the Military Engineering has been charged with the execution of the extension work. They have 12 months to execute the first phase of the project, which is demarcating the road dimensions and raking the debris from the demolished houses. The 3-kilometer road, which is an extension of the Boulevard de la République, will run from the Bonabassin Bridge in Aquanor up to Maitu roundabout in the Bonamoussadi neighborhood. Prior to the start of the extension work, the inhabitants living along this axis had been indemnified by the Douala City Council, who were the main sponsor of the project, and had been given a time limit to evacuate the area. But despite the numerous warnings from the City Council, some recalcitrant inhabitants were still doubting the effectiveness of the project.
Et que vu qu'on les a dédommagés tous, il y a certains qui sont pour, qui ont dégagé les lieux, mais il y a certains qui veulent voir avant d'accepter.
Reason why some could still be seen trying to pack out only on the day of the start of the project. The extension project of the Boulevard de la République has all the same caused mixed feelings among inhabitants of the economic capital. While others blame the Douala City Council for poor urban planning, others welcome the idea for the fact that this extension will reduce, if not
solve the problem of traffic suffered around Aquanor and the Bipanda neighborhoods.
We remain in the country's economic capital, Douala, where officials of the Delegation of Mines, Industries and Technological Development have maintained that jail sentences await gas distributors who reduce the content of their gas bottles. A surveillance team visited some gas distribution centers here in the city of Douala, precisely in the Douala 5 municipality, to ensure that gas sold to locals are up to the weighing standard. Pamela Ndukong tells us more in the following report.
The gas control team, under the supervision of the Delegate of Mines, Industries and Technological Development, Jean-Marie Dimbele, made their first stop at the Bipanda Axliot neighborhood in Douala 5 municipality. Their gas bottles were weighed on a pocket balance and observed the bottles had their prescribed weights. The control team visited 2 other distribution centers for the same check, after which the delegate expressed satisfaction.
The first day of effective control, we observed that bottles were okay and are satisfied that the distributors have respected the recommendation.
During the check, the control team caught up with a gas distributor who stored gas bottles in a container, an act which had been prohibited by the delegation.
Gas should not be locked up in a container. It is very dangerous because it can easily explode. For now, we shall make sure that those bottles are taken out of the container.
The doors of the container were immediately sealed. Gas consumers have been advised to buy and own a pocket balance which costs 4,000 francs CFA, at least to be on the safe side.
And to the far north region of Cameroon, Zokom Daniel has been installed mayor of the Moloko Council, a position he has been occupying for 25 years now. During the installation ceremony to reaffirm his tenure in office, the senior divisional officer for the Mayo Sanaga division called for the genuine use of the council funds. Let's have the details of that report with Ambe Fokwa.
The installation was witnessed by senior government officials with heads of the armed forces, other dignitaries, and inhabitants of the Moloko city. Following the results of the September 30th, 2013 twin elections in the Mayo Sanaga division, the CPDM retained control of the Moloko Council. The subsequent elections for mayors, conducted nationally on October 16th, saw the re-election of Zokom Daniel to the helm of chief executive of the Moloko Council. The re-election of the 46-year-old Mayor Zokom may not have come as a surprise to the residents of the city who have witnessed his continuous administration as re-elected mayor of the municipality for 27 years, originally taking his first mandate on the 20th of June 1985. Giving an address to the executive, the SDO of the Mayo Sanaga division made transparent management of the finances of the council his major point of discourse. He recommended a clear separation of those accountable for the usage of council funds from those charged with controlling the municipality's administrative activities in order to avoid any issues with financial mismanagement that could lead to the tarnishing of the credibility of the service of the executives before the community. With this warning, the SDO of the Mayo Sanaga division adorned Mayor Zokom Daniel and his 5 deputy assistant mayors with their municipal attributes, setting them officially into function for their 5-year mandate, which would end only in the year 2018. At the end of the installation ceremony, Mayor Zokom spoke with the press, alliterating his priorities of development, which included a range of infrastructural projects to give the Moloko city a modern image. With the trust of the residents of Moloko firmly vested in Zokom Daniel, the CPDM has the way of privilege in this constituency of the Mayo Sanaga division to deliver its promises of development and economic emergence.
Here in the Littoral region, a young girl in Peka 14 of the Douala Free municipality is yet to recover from the shock that she received at the weekend from the hands of security forces. The girl was molested and later on taken into custody by the said security officials because she was poorly dressed, according to the men in uniform. Let's have the details of the report with Hansen Chanchi.
This girl, whose identity is withheld, is in upset. She didn't go to school Monday, as she is yet to recover from the shock received at the weekend, where a military officer stopped her a few meters from her home at Peka 14 in the Douala 3 municipality for dressing poorly, according to him. The girl revealed that the military officer and his colleague were in a nearby filling station. As they saw her passing by, they asked her to stop, then later ordered her into a taxi. The men in uniform, according to them, the girl was poorly dressed. This is the dress she wore on that fateful day. An orange gown, slightly at the knee level. When she was temporarily kept in custody in the taxi, the girl's brother was alerted. When he came, he was intimidated by the military men who shot live bullets at him that hit the ground. This man who came to rescue the girl received punches from the men who also used the edge of their gun to hit his stomach. As the people were thrown in confusion and quarrel, two fake men appeared as lieutenants and asked that the girl's family provide money to buy another bullet to the military men. The girl's sister had to call 113, where the military commander of Peka 14 was alerted. Upon arrival, the two presumed lieutenants were unmasked and taken to custody. But nothing has been done to the military men who initiated the action as they continued work Sunday. The people of Peka 14 have denounced the activities of military men in the area, whom they say are corrupt and have taken laws into their hands. They harass girls, seize items and demand money. Since the recent outing of 4 ministers on dressing of young girls, bodyguards, security guards, military men, administrative officials have taken laws into their hands, harassing young girls on street on grounds that they are poorly dressed. This putting Cameroon in a state of lawlessness.
Quite a bitter experience for the young girl, a resident of Peka 14, a locality of the Douala Free municipality. We have come to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. But before we go, in this newscast, we took a look at the rate of malnutrition in the country, where an estimated 33% of Cameroonian children are suffering from the said phenomenon, and medics here in the economic capital Douala are seeking ways to reduce the situation, and why Cameroonians are continuing to ponder on when the reunification celebration of the country would finally take place. The governor of the Southwest region of Cameroon, Bernard Okalia Bilai, today declared that no reunification project has so far been abandoned. And equally, we talked about passengers of the Turkish Airlines that have been on rampage for days here in the economic capital Douala. We thank you once again, viewers, for joining us in this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Good evening to you once again, and have a wonderful stay. Bye-bye.